Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second class in a series, Getting to Know Your Mystical Creatures Dragon in All Its Settings. The best way to get the most out of your mystical creatures. My name is Avalon Crystal. I am the manager and COO of Mystical Creatures. I am so glad that you are here today and have joined me, so let's jump right into it. Did you know that your dragon has all kinds of different settings that you can set to ensure your breeding is just how you like it? Let's talk about how to get to your dragon settings through the dragon menu. Click on any dragon that you own and then environment. This is all of our different settings right here. You're going to see the following options. Breath. Side note, if your dragon is under 5 days old, you will not see breath. So choosing the breath option right here will toggle on and off. Will toggle on and off your breath. If you choose off, it'll tell you in local chat, hey, my breath is now off. And if you want to turn it back on, you just follow the same steps and choose breath on. Our next button that we're going to talk about is set perimeter. This sets the perimeter of your dragon. When you click set perimeter, it's going to ask you in local chat, say the range value that you want in local chat. For this video, we're going to put in 10 and it's going to confirm to you my perimeter is now set to 10. I do want to talk about perimeter for just a moment. This is so very important. You can set your perimeter anywhere between 5 and 96 meters. I recommend that you set your perimeter between 10 and 25 meters. Perimeter is basically your dragon's range. Why is this important? Well, anything your dragons do, whether it's interacting with food or other dragons for the purposes of breeding, they must be within range. So if you set your perimeter to 15, that will give your dragon a radius of 30 from its home position. In any direction out from its home position, it could travel 15 meters. This also works if you have your dragon's movement turned on. But if your perimeter is set to 15 and your dragon food is 17 meters away, guess what's going to happen? Your dragon's not going to eat that food. If your perimeter is set to 15 and your dragon is trying to breed with a dragon that is 16 meters away, your dragon's not going to breed. Everything must be within range, and this will be different based on how you have your dragons set up. One way that you can check the perimeter is super simple. It's by using a simple prim. The prim we're standing on here is 10 by 10. So if my dragon's range is set to 5, I have a 10 meter radius. If my food is here, guess what? My dragon's not going to eat. Your food must be within range, just like that, of your dragon. So this is one thing that a lot of people have problems with if their dragon is not eating. The next setting option we're going to take a look at is mobility. So your options here are mobile. That means move around within the perimeter that your dragon is set to. Immobile means your dragon is just going to stand still. Flight mode. This is going to make your dragon fly around. So at first it's going to hover like this, and then eventually it will take off in flight. Remember, you can change any of those at any time by going to environment, mobility, and then choosing the option that you want. The next button we're going to take a look at is text. All right, so as you can see right here, the hover text on my dragon is turned on, right? Everybody sees his hover text. If I wanted to turn that off, I would simply select off. And again, guys, everything is confirmed in local chat. You can now see his text is off and it has disappeared. Turn that on at any time by following the same steps and choosing on. Sound, this is another menu option. This will turn the sounds on or off on your dragons. I like the sounds that the dragon makes. However, I keep my sounds off and I'll leave one turned on. I don't want to hear 200, 300 roaring dragons at once. This is totally a preference. Most markets like you to have it turned off, so just leaving it off, especially if you don't want to hear them, is all you need to do for that. Let's talk about environment and then ascension. All right, ascension. This is where you send your dragon to serve in their realm to help them rebuild the lost world of dragonkind. Basically, guys, this is a way to trade in dragons or even dragon eggs that you no longer want or wish to breed. You can get a different amount of ascension points based on the dragon's age, traits. You do have to confirm this. As you can see, it says, are you sure you want to ascend this dragon for 70 ascension points? It cannot be reversed. I've had people who have filed tickets that said they accidentally sent their dragon to ascension, which is really hard to do when you have a whole second confirmation you have to click through. So please just pay attention when you're clicking yes. Next thing we're going to talk about is identify. This is just how you name or rename your dragon. You can see it says, say the name you want of your dragon in local chat. I'm going to name my dragon Bob. And once I hit enter, you'll see his name is now Bob. This is also how you rename a dragon. Why is it important to name your dragons or even your eggs? Well, if you have an issue and lose a dragon and file a ticket and you don't have any info, no name, it may be very difficult for mystical creatures to replace your missing breedable. I tell people all the time, even if you just number your dragon or A, B, C, D, it's a great way to keep up with what is there and what might be missing. I mean, if I know I'm breeding dragons 1 through 20 and I'm looking and I see 16 and 18, but 17's not there, I know. Let me go file a ticket on the support website and tell them I'm missing dragon named 17. This is a great thing to do unless you name them all the same thing and you have 42 water gaverants breeding and you lose one and they're all named water gaverant. I'm not going to have any idea which one you're actually missing. You'll come up with a naming technique that works best for you. All right, set home. Guys, this one is so important and I don't know if everybody knows that. This one is super important because your dragon's home should be at the spot you want your dragon to be at. So if you hit set home, it's going to tell you exactly the coordinates of your dragon. So this is something you want to do, especially if you're moving your dragons around. So if I edit my dragon and say I put his home way back over here and I don't ever reset his home, this can cause issues with your dragons not eating, things being outside the perimeter, such as well springs or even mates, right? So anytime you move your dragon around like this, you want to click environment and set home. The last button that I'm going to talk to you about on the environments submenu is complete. Some people have no idea what this means. This is where you check all your settings. If you select your dragon and select complete, you're going to see down here in local chat, it's going to tell me what my mating setting is, what food type it's set to, its home location, its perimeter, is text on, is movement on, is sounds on, or breath on. So anytime somebody files a ticket, that's the first thing I check. I check what kind of, if they say it's not eating, what food is it set to? What is its range? Where does it think its home location is? So you can see all that just by choosing complete. Now let's talk about food settings. There are 2 different types of food. If you click your dragon in edibles, you're going to see you have 2 options. Arid crystals, which is for not breeding, that's considered a pet. If you have a dragon that's ancient or something like that, you may want to give it arid crystals. And voracious crystals. Voracious crystals is what you should be feeding your dragons if you want to breed them. And it's super simple. Voracious crystals are blue, arid crystals are green. So just by a quick look, you should be able to see which food you have out for your dragons. So if I want to change this to arid crystals, I would just select arid. Again, it confirms in local chat for me. Now, if I want to go back to voracious crystals from arid crystals, here's something a lot of people get stuck on. If your dragon has taken 1 bite of arid crystals and then you go, oh snap, I want to breed this dragon, and then you put it on voracious crystals, it's going to take 7 days for the effects of the arid crystals to wear off. So make sure that you have your dragon set to the correct food. This is also the first thing I check when somebody says a dragon is not eating. Now let's talk about the mating settings, all right? So under mating, you have a couple different buttons here. Last egg. So if I choose last egg, it's going to tell me in local chat your dragon's last egg was. It's going to give me the UUID of the egg, and it's also going to tell me who its partner was by UUID and name. Side note, this is only for viable eggs. If your dragon is in rejuvenation and there is no egg there, you cannot click it and get the UUID of the egg you thought it should have because it's going to be of the last valid egg. Mating mode, let's take a quick look at this one. So there are 3 different options you can choose from. Owner, which means your dragon will only breed with other dragons that you own. Group, this means your dragon will breed with any other dragons set to the same group as this dragon. And anyone, this is a free-for-all, and all dragons will mate with any other dragon despite the owner or group. So please be aware what you have your mating set to. You could end up giving a Geno away or even snagging one from somebody else, wearing your dragon out at a market. So I always just, for safety purposes, I always set mine to owner only, because if you have your dragon dragon set to anyone, and maybe you got 3 Genos and somebody TPs over and their Dragoness has 100% ardor, they could get an egg from your Drake breeding with their Dragoness. You're out the Geno and they've gained an egg. So just be aware. The next button we're going to talk about is the union. This is if you want to connect your dragon to a union crystal. To do this, you click mating and then union. And local chat is going to tell you, attempting to connect the union crystal, make sure your mystical dragon is next to your relay. Touch the union crystal and select connect to tether your mystical dragon to it. The union crystal is totally optional. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. You can achieve the same thing by spreading your dragons out and using your perimeter. So totally your preference. Back to our mating menu. Last mating, this is going to tell you the name and the UUID of the last dragon this mated with. And we all probably know this already. Ancestry just lists the parent stats in local chat right there. You can see mom and dad of this dragon. Now, a settings class just would not be complete if we didn't talk about the DEM. This is a free tool that will change the settings of all dragons on your sim at one time. Go get a DEM from any mystical creature's location for free. You only need one DEM on the sim, just like you only need one Nexus. All the settings that we discussed before are located on the DEM. You have breath, perimeter, mobility, activate, text, home set, and sounds. So one thing I'm going to give you a tip, always make sure that your home is set to reset home. And I always like to turn the DEM text on. That just turns the text on my DEM, so at a quick look, I can see my settings, right? So you want to go through here and meticulously set all your settings. Do you want your dragons flying around? Do you want them standing still? Do you want the sound on? Do you want their breath on? Once you set all the settings, and it's super easy, guys, you just click on the one, just like we did through the dragon menu. Once all your settings are set, you're going to hit activate. So I'll show you an example. For this one, we're going to turn text off. As you can see, the text is on my dragon, but when I click this and hit activate, it's going to turn the text off because I had it set to text off right here. If you move your dragons around a lot, even if you're not changing settings, I like to hit this and hit activate every once in a while. I just leave it rezzed out because it'll reset the home of all your dragons, right? And we've already talked about how your dragon not being in the position that it thinks it's in, causing all kinds of issues, right? All right, so that's a quick rundown on settings that you can set to your dragon. I want to say thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch the second class in the series that I'm doing. Hopefully it won't take me as long to get class 3 up, but if you liked this, please just go ahead and like this video. If you have any questions or any problems that you can't seem to figure out, please file a ticket on our support website. If you cannot even make it to our support website, please contact me in World Avalon Crystal or send me a note card if I am offline, and I will get back to you and get you fixed up as soon as possible. All right, guys, I hope to see you at the next class. Make today mystical.